So the basis of today's question is with regards to self-sabotage through the feelings of frustration and overwhelmment. And yet...
We like your choice of words because all sabotage is done by self, and it's not done by those emotions, it's indicated by those emotions.
Exactly. And so this weekend for me has been about distraction and finding the feelings, finding those moments of highest excitement and accentuating them.
We think that's all a really good idea, but we want to remind you that satisfaction is so much easier to find. And if you will just care about being satisfied a little more every day, that's the key. Because from satisfaction you can get all the way to all of those other. It's like Jerry always said, put your basket out far enough that you can reach it, but not so, in other words, far enough that it thrills you when you do reach it, but not so far that you don't believe you can't. And so that's what we're talking about here. Let satisfaction be the emotion that you're reaching for.
So the saturation of my life experience has created a polar reaction that has taken me down this rabbit hole that I really don't wish to experience.
Because you're too busy?
Anymore. Overwhelmment and frustration. Overwhelmment that there's too much to do, and frustration, too much to do and too little time to do it, and frustration in so much that I don't necessarily have all the skills to just rock this world. And it's annoying, but I want to shatter the glass ceiling.
You've chosen, all of you, a very interesting time to be in your physical bodies. First of all, it's the leading edge, and it's what you really wanted. But there is so much information that is available to you. You must become a better sifter. You must become more discerning, which means you must use other criteria other than shatter the glass ceiling or accomplish the goals that you've had for so much of your life. You want to shift them into the goals that will really serve you. And the goal that we are encouraging is the goal of being satisfied now and being satisfied now and being satisfied now. We really want to make this point with you. So what is the feeling of satisfaction? Well, let's just start by saying it's being other than unsatisfied. If you can't find what a feeling of satisfaction really feels like, because it isn't quite relief, it's contentment, it's satisfaction, it's the feeling that there's no time crunch, there's not anything that I need to do right now other than what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is just right. It's that feeling. It's that feeling of sort of giving into the moment, not trying to make the moment something that it isn't, not demanding of yourself something that you can't give right now, settling into the moment and letting this moment be all right. It's a feeling of satisfaction. When you strike a vibrational pose, the universe cooperates. When you strike a pose of dissatisfaction, the universe responds to that as well. So it really is just deciding that just because you want to, that Esther, she can get overwhelmed too. She said to someone the other day, I get in that clear space and all these good ideas start flowing to me, and then I engage with a couple of others, and then they start hounding me, and before I know it, I'm overwhelmed with what seemed like a good idea last week that seems like overwhelmment this week. And what we say to her about that, Esther, just be the pointer that you've learned to be. Point in the direction of what satisfies you. Everything is about balance, isn't it? If you have a financial shortage, it's because you're spending more than is coming in. If you have a time crunch, it's because you're asking more of yourself than you believe you can physically do. So you have to find ways of either doing less or finding more efficient ways of doing more, or getting more people to help you. And so when you put together the feeling of overwhelmment and disappointment, are the people that you're asking to help you disappointing you? What are you disappointed about?
At its heart, not being able to deliver as quickly as we need to. I'm not willing to sacrifice the quality in context of the delivery.
We hear you, and we hear how particular you are, and we like it, that you've got these strict standards about what you want to produce and how you want to produce it and keeping your commitment and all of that. But we just want to turn your attention to another commitment that you've been willing not to keep, and that's the commitment of being satisfied. When you make yourself crazy, you're not satisfied. And when you bite off more than you can chew, you're not satisfied. And when you beat up on yourself, you're not satisfied. You're the only one who can turn your thoughts in a way that makes them feel more satisfying. And so make some statement that moves you more in the direction of satisfied. Forget about what you came to talk to us about. Forget about the fact that you came to talk about being overwhelmed and being done with that, or being disappointed and being done with that. And let's talk about what you do want, which is being satisfied. We know, you think if we say that word one more time, you're going to, it is the key. If you can break through into a feeling of satisfaction.
I have an undeniable state of passion. I have an undeniable state of commitment.
You could say I'm driven. I've been driven for a long time. And with that desire, with that being driven, we're going to put it to you in a way that we know you can hear it. It might take a minute for it to settle in, but this is what this is all about. And it's true for so many people. You're driven because you have sought understanding from humans rather than from your source, because your source would never drive you. You're driven because you care what other people think. When you want to thrive, a lot of it is because you want to be successful, which means to be successful, there needs to be, for most of you who are looking for financial success or success that most humans are seeking, it has something to do with the way you are compared in the world to others. It has something to do with the way others see you. If you're looking for satisfaction rather than being driven, if you were as driven about wanting to be satisfied as you are about wanting to achieve, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And so what we want you to focus on for a little while achieving is satisfaction. Your inner being is so satisfied with you. Your inner being finds you perfect at every level of your being and yet still expanding. Your inner being finds you brilliant and a comprehender. Your inner being finds you someone who has the capacity to do so much. But when your desire to accomplish your capacity outweighs your willingness to strive for your own satisfaction, we're going to reach for some strong statements to get through to you. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Just because somebody wants you to do something doesn't mean it's your obligation to do it. Just because you once said you were going to do it doesn't mean you now have to do it. Because when you get strung out, you're strung out. You got to get tuned into who you are. And tuned in always feels satisfying. It feels satisfying at the easy levels. It feels satisfying at the love levels. It feels satisfying at the appreciation levels. It feels satisfying at the bouncing off the wall enthusiasm levels. Satisfaction always feels good. It just has varying degrees of momentum within it, you see. But when you dip out of satisfaction under the guise or with the quest for accomplishment and making a better person of myself and setting high standards and giving others something to live up to and being a role model, then you get all wonky in your vibration. Just start trying to identify to yourself what being satisfied feels like. Esther sat with friends at their house overlooking the Pacific Ocean the other day. And the breeze was so nice, and the chair she was sitting in was so comfortable, and the friendship she has with these people is so delicious, and the ocean was so blue. And then she looked out, and there was a heavy bank of clouds, and then no clouds, and then the water level. And the sun, which she thought had already set because it was behind such dense clouds, now came out behind the clouds, and it looked like a reverse sunset. It was odd. She had not ever seen that. She'd never seen the sun peek out in that way. And she said, look, it's like the sun is setting upside down. It was so satisfying. They sat there for the minute it took to move through that little crack of space and dip into the sea. It was so satisfying. Satisfying because she hadn't seen it before. Satisfying because it was there. Satisfying. It was no big deal. It happens every damn day. The sun goes down every single day. But here I am with people I love looking over there, and I feel satisfied. Satisfied. I feel satisfied. I feel satisfied. I want to feel satisfied. I mean to feel satisfied. I do feel satisfied. That's your quest. I intend to be satisfied. I know how to be satisfied. I will be satisfied. I want to be satisfied, satisfied, satisfied. So as you practice it when it's easy, pretty soon you're with someone who has previously annoyed the life out of you, but you've been practicing satisfaction and you've been satisfied and you like the way you feel and you're not giving it up for your old thoughts about this rascal. Just not willing to do it. Just not willing to do it, because satisfied is the key. Satisfied is why you were born. Satisfied is why you came. You came because you are a creator. You are a creator who decides and moves in the direction of and accomplishes. Satisfaction is the key to the very soul of your being. That's who you are. Dissatisfied is bonkers. Dissatisfied is off kilter. Dissatisfied must not be allowed. Dissatisfied is not who you are. It's not what you came for. And yet so many have been dissatisfied about that and that and that and that and that for so long. You don't know what satisfied is. You don't know how to find that on the emotional scale. You've got to pinpoint it. You've got to isolate it. You've got to find it for yourself. You've got to let it be where you start, because you can't jump from disappointment or from overwhelmment into those higher vibrations. You've just got to find something that you feel satisfied about. And unless you're doing that thing you do, you will be satisfied. This time and space has the wherewithal to deliver to you one satisfying experience after another. It does. It does. Satisfaction is absence of resistance. It's absence of resistance. Satisfaction is on the brink of everything that you care about. It is the key to everything you want. It's the key to good relationships. It's the key to financial freedom. It's the key to everything. It matters so much. That is your quest. And can't you feel yourself, even in this conversation, just sort of settling into it and thinking, man, I've been trying too hard. I've been reaching for something that is really unattainable. I've been trying to demand my alignment into the universe rather than just soothe my alignment into the universe. So you got to believe us when we say, because it's true, that everything you want is in that vortex, and satisfaction is the key to it coming out to play with you. Tension doesn't let you there. If you really have given up the battle, if you really are not trying to prove anything to the other humans that you are seeking mutuality with, if you're really only wanting to jive with, connect with, resonate with, find vibrational compatibility with your inner being, then when you slip into that satisfaction, you'd say, I'm there. I'm there. I have now harnessed my power. Let it roll. Really good.